And now we're going to take you to Miami, where authorities were forced to keep strict restrictions against spring breakers in place after chaos erupted in South Beach over the weekend. The city is being criticized after police and partiers clashed in Miami Beach, and officers are accused of using pepper balls to clear the crowds. Meanwhile, many of the people out on the streets were not wearing masks, and officials are concerned that this may lead to another surge in coronavirus cases, just as the fight to end the pandemic in the U.S. is hanging in the balance. Elise Preston is with us now in New York. Elise, what's the latest?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Well, COVID travel recently hit a record as more Americans are starting to visit cities like Miami.
Officials in Miami Beach have announced they're extending an 8 p.m. curfew in highly trafficked areas through April 12th. That after thousands of spring breakers, many maskless, flooded the streets, defying a Saturday night emergency curfew. The SWAT team needed to help break up the crowd, which some fear could spark a new coronavirus surge. The city's mayor announced the extended measure during an emergency virtual session yesterday.
There's 1,000 infections a day on most days, and 50 to 100 people are still checking into the hospital every day in Dade County. And our city isn't escaping that, even with so much of the vaccine being delivered.
Florida is leading the country in cases of the highly contagious variants first discovered in the UK and Brazil. Still, some vacationers insist the strict measures Miami Beach is implementing are excessive.
I'm from Detroit. They come to our city and act up, but our mayor don't make it a curfew because of that.
As more than a dozen states are seeing rising COVID cases, Americans are increasingly on the move. More than 1.4 million flyers went through U.S. airports on Friday, setting a pandemic record. Still, health experts remain cautiously optimistic, thanks primarily to more than 81 million American adults having received at least one vaccine dose.
There's enough of a backstop here that I don't think you're going to see a fourth surge.
More than 13% of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated.
And there is growing concern this morning about variants. Experts say it's unclear how effective they are against, how effective the vaccines are against them. Anne-Marie?
Yeah, of course. Let's go back to Florida. City officials decided to extend the emergency curfew through April 12th. Do we know why they're deciding to keep it that long? Is it just because they expect more spring breakers to be sort of coming down as different schools, I guess, break at different times? And also, before the crowds arrived, were there restrictions in place?
Well, that's exactly it, Anne-Marie, as far as that question. Now, the April 10th extension, that extension for a few weeks, that goes along with that typical spring break timeline. Now, prior to the spring break season, many businesses in the area, they were actually really looking forward to an economic boost to their businesses. They hadn't seen those tourism dollars throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, I bet they needed to, but safety first, of course. Elise, thank you very much.